Aha. Bet you we on time today, right on the money. Campaign Trail, Tuesday night, October 22nd. 2 more days to the born day, to my 5-5 born day. Peace to y'all. Today's subject, or the night's subjects, Judge Joe Brown and Candace Owens. Pointing out two key things about Kamala Harris's or Kamala Imhoff's and her party's agenda. Something that was real profound, the way that they kind of pointed it out. It was something, we all kind of been talking about, but the way that Judge Joe Brown, I can't really listen to Judge Joe Brown too long, me personally, because he just long-winded and just he sound, he just ain't got the kind of voice I could listen to for too long. Not like Judge Mathis. Like I like Judge Mathis as far as being able to listen to him in his show. I just wasn't no fan of Judge Joe Brown, but regardless of whether I like his voice or not, I'd never known him or heard of him being a liar. Is Judge Joe Brown a liar? As far as y'all know, it's like Candace Owens are they liars? Because when I'm gonna play right here, this little kind of reaction clip. Dude is full of receipts. He got the best memory as a old black judge that I ever seen. He got a memory on him. He like a little elephant. So, but yeah, I wasn't a fan of his style or his attitude or whatever. But what he on right now is something deep. So let's go through it, and I'm gonna see if y'all gonna pick up on what I picked up on.
The Emmett Till anti-lynch bill has nothing to do with black people.
No bill they put up has anything to do with black people.
No.
Or just the headline. But then when you read it.
The headline does.
Yeah.
But what it does is it puts into the American federal criminal laws for the first time sexual orientation as a victim category for criminal offenses. Now, when you think of a lynching, you think of a mob killing somebody, right? Well, the Emmett Till anti-lynch bill, one, doesn't require a mob. It can be one person. It doesn't even require a homicide. You can kidnap somebody or somebody. And how does that play out? What happens, let's say you have a guy who's broken up with his girlfriend or his wife, and he's feeling down, and some of his friends say, hey man, let's go to the club. So he goes to the club with his homeboys, and he's dancing with this PYT in a tight, short dress, big boobs, hoop earrings, braids, down her back, and they're having a good time exchanging spit over in the shadows and drinking wine. And then he looks down. Man, what are you? You got a heart on. And he busts him in the mouth. Now that's federal lynching.
Fair use. And that's why, I had to break this up, because just dudes talking style is too long-winded and it ain't really too interesting. So I just had to chop it up and get right to the main point. So it's called the Emmett Till bill, right? The LYNCHING, like the no pun intended, like the lynch mob, Ice Cube and the lynch mob. That's interesting. I just thought about that right now. But they using Emmett Till, and his mama, what I'm saying, and that whole hoax thing before the lady died or whatever she confessed about or whatever that, but we talking about the politics that they put in place using a real victim, using a real black, crisis in a crime. And this is how these politicians or these tricksters use us, is what he's saying. So they slipped in this little bill under the name of Emmett Till, but the bill really didn't have nothing to do with Emmett Till. It was really passed through by some rainbow situations, what he about to keep talking about.
Wow.
What they did with it, you see this bait and switch. Also, look at the Black Caucus. If you examine the voting records for the Black Caucus, you will find something very interesting. They
Is
have
it really of the Rainbow Coalition?
yeah, because they're a member of the Liberty Caucus, which is the LGBTQIA plus caucus in Congress. I think all but 4 or 5 of them. And they do more work for the Liberty Caucus than they do for the Black Caucus. Now, for the 9th District of Tennessee, we have Steve Cohen. He's white, he's Jewish, he's gay, and guess what?
What?
He is chairman of the Black Caucus's Reparations Committee.
So this guy that he just said, we heard his descriptions. He's chairman of the Black Caucus's Reparations Committee. Why is this guy from this party, from this orientation, the chairman of the Black Caucus's Reparations Committee? And the Black Caucus is Democrats, right? Ain't that's Democrats? I'm not even into Democrat or Republican, nothing like that. But just as a student of Black history and Malcolm X and his teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and what we were taught about how the Democratic Party is used the most to deceive and enslave us. That's why I'm bringing that up. But let's back up a little bit. Let me hear that again.
Tennessee, we have Steve Cohen. He's white, he's Jewish, he's gay, and guess what? He is chairman of the Black Caucus's Reparations Committee. So what is this? When you look at 5 years ago, they had that circus for 2 weeks about whether to have a formal committee set up to study reparations, and then
Right, to study reparations. It wasn't to do nothing about reparations. We was going to study, they heard Black people, riled up so much, talking so much about reparations that they agreed that, okay, we're gonna talk about reparations. We're gonna get a committee together to study reparations. Did you get a committee together and study Israel, the state of Israel, or did you just put it in place? Did you go get it done? You studied it afterwards. You studied on how to keep the state of Israel going and how you keep the people that you just put in place in Palestine, how you keep them there. That was way back in 76 years ago in 1945. So now we got to study to just have a conversation about Black reparations. So yeah, that's the technology at its finest.
have a formal committee set up to study reparations, and then 2 weeks later, on the first voice vote, no debate, they passed what's known as, quote, the Gay Reparations Act.
Okay.
So they passed according to him, what he said, the G, LGP, the G Reparations Act. I ain't even never heard of that. I just know that talk about reparations in government just disappeared. I didn't know where it disappeared to and why they stopped talking about it, but you just heard it from a judge, a veteran judge, a constitutional lawyer and judge, Joe Brown. That's what happened to it, y'all.
Up to study reparations, and then 2 weeks later, on the first voice vote, no debate, they passed what's known as, quote, the Gay Reparations Act.
Okay.
With no debate, with no study, I guess. They hurry up and push the G Reparations Act. They pushed that through, is what he's saying. But we couldn't even get a full 2 or 3 weeks of studying the Black reparations.
Okay, so this is what we're doing is we're using Black people as a smokescreen.
Yeah,
to allow,
and that's what they're doing with
LGBTQ to
Kamala
spike the ball.
Harris.
Yeah.
You take a significant voting group that has emotive needs and cravings to belong, and here you give them an opportunity to identify with somebody who has absolutely no connections with them. Even if it was Black, she's not somebody who has a prior generation in America. She is the immigrant herself.
Dang, so she's the first generation full immigrant, talking about Harris, right? Not her parents. So this is the first what we just heard about, this whole rainbow agenda. That's the first piece of a key point that, we kind of knew about that. But the second point that I'm about to get to is something that, you heard me and others talking about, but they kind of go into it deeper, and I want us to listen and go into it even deeper. It's very sensitive. It's a very sensitive issue, very emotional, especially for Black women of America that consider themselves boss chicks and boss bees and all that. Listen to this part.
Because her parents were not immigrants, she is the immigrant. And by a technical call, she's qualified to run for president. But
the technical call is that she was born in America. Her parents weren't born in America, so her parents couldn't qualify to be full citizens to where they could have ran for the presidency of the United States. But due to a technicality of how she was born, even though her parents weren't citizens of the United States, but she gave birth to her here, whether they were just visiting or not. If you give birth to a child here, even if you're from somewhere else, then that technicality could allow them to be considered a U.S. naturalized citizen that can run for the presidency.
You get somebody like that, they're easy to manipulate and control because they've got no connections with this place.
I think it's quite a tell that Kamala doesn't have any children of her own. It is concerning when you have basically a coalition of childless cat women and so many homosexual men, people like Cory Booker, in these positions of power.
That's the second piece. Childless women and rainbow men in positions of power. Childless women, and especially Black women, our sisters that, that's craving power. They're into power over family. Power over family. They'd rather have power than have a family. Remember that. Let me back that up. Keep that in mind, because we're going to go all the way into this.
And so many homosexual men, people like, I think it's quite a tell that Kamala doesn't have any children of her own. It is concerning when you have basically a coalition of childless cat women and so many homosexual men, people like Cory Booker, in these positions of power who are informing policy very removed from a certain kind of compassion. And I know people, they tried to make it seem like you meant, oh, women that are struggling with fertility issues. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people that have zero inclination, desire toward family, but they want power, right?
She said it right there. They have zero inclinations towards having a family, but they want to have power over people that do want and have family. Women who don't want a family, they don't want a family, right? But they want power over your family. They want power over you and those of us that do have and want family. What is the motivation behind that? What is the motivation behind that?
And it genuinely scares me when I think about this, because they are naturally nihilistic. They're where they gain that power and that assertion from within themselves, to me, is quite troubling. And their ability to inflict pain on others almost knows no bounds.
So their ability to inflict pain on others, in my personal experience in 55 years of dealing with thousands of, I can only speak for Black women, the ones that don't want a family and the ones that don't have a family. What I mean by family is children. The ones that don't want children and that don't have children are, this is my personal experience, the most treacherous females I ever experienced. They play like sweet and business women and religious, the most treacherous women I have ever experienced, because they don't have a real soul. They don't have a full soul for whatever reason. They might have been, traumatized or something, but whatever reason that a woman turns, especially if you're a Black woman, you turn off your natural mother instinct, or that, like I said, from my personal experience, the most treacherous females on the planet, the most treacherous, cold, heartless, no conscience, liars, connivers, opportunists, users. I'm telling you, she absolutely right with that. I mean, you know, she's a woman, so I mean, you know, women be knowing women's game a lot of times more than males, but males that have dealt with many females and know the female mentality, we study it from a different angle. We study how these women are treacherous towards the males. You know, women already don't get along. I don't do females, and you know, they recognize each other game, but I'm talking about the relationship of a woman, especially our woman, to their men. Treacherous.
In themselves, to me, is quite troubling, and their ability to inflict pain on others almost knows no bounds.
You pointed this out earlier. What happens when you have no legacy?
Yeah.
You don't have any interest in continuity. You're not thinking like you do when you have children, grandchildren, or when you adopt somebody who is actually a child and you participate in raising them.
Mm-hmm.
What is her stake in tomorrow? I mean, if you went out and you adopted a 9-month-old, a 1.5 years, 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and you're raising them, you've got an interest in tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, that's like that example I gave you of, you know, you come down the jungle trail with an antelope across your shoulders and you see this war party about to fall on your village. Nobody's looking. Do you sneak off or do you sound the alarm and maybe die to sacrifice for your village and your people and your descendants? Or do you just turn around and run?
Kamala turns around and runs.
Yeah.
She has no stake in tomorrow.
No stake in this.
No stake in tomorrow. That's what it's about. That's the treachery. That's the cold-heartedness. I can just up and leave. If things get too hot, things get too uncomfortable, I get too disappointed in a situation, I don't have no roots, I don't have no anchor, I don't have nothing that I love, nobody that I love. That's really what it comes down to. Family means human beings that you love. If you don't have no human beings that you love, then you're already cold, you're already lost, you're already alone, you're already on some other time, some type of other energy, other frequency, because you chose that. You chose things. You chose things over people, over love, over family. That's already the recipe, the mother of treachery. You know what I'm saying? So those that have children, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you could be a piece of a POS, a piece of ish also, but you fulfilled your natural and divine power. At least you tapped into your power and you produced, you reproduced, you know what I'm saying? You was fruitful and multiplied. It might be some tainted fruit, but we all came from tainted circumstances. So that can always be improved on. But somebody that just anti their natural role and gender and power and function, treachery. Absolutely treachery. I saw some comments that maybe y'all got rid of them. Let me address this. Tacktown 253. I swear I didn't subscribe to this channel for this dude. Where Aiden still at? Cam never seems to intrigue. What does that mean? Because Cam has the power to block you. You know what I'm saying? So no matter who you subscribe for, I can make sure you unsubscribe. So I'm not sure what you're saying, but here's the link. Because no matter what, if you got a TV show or a TV, you don't just leave it on channel 4. If it's something that you don't like, then don't watch it. You know what I'm saying? But I can make sure that you don't watch it at all. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's demons. That's the demon time. You know, that's what happens when you get too real on them. Oh, he gone, Elmatic? Yeah. But what are y'all thoughts on this subject? Does that make sense? Why would you want power instead of a family? Is that your idea of family, having power over other people's families? You know what I'm saying? I chose a career over children. I chose a career over a husband. I chose a career or money or status or whatever over a family. Now I want to rule over your family. Now I want to rule over yours because I didn't produce one. I don't have one by choice. It was my body, my choice. Now I want to influence you and yours so that you won't have one either. I want to push these P's with Taraji. I want to push these 500,000 per year, 500,000 per year terminations. And I want to push this Skittles rainbow. So they said it absolutely right. The males is rainbow and the females don't want no family. And that's who y'all pushing. Uh-oh, what happened? That's who we pushing. Give me y'all's thoughts though in the comment. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna end this one right now so it could be short. And I'm coming literally right back. All right. Campaign trail piece, right back.